I don't believe in cutting everything and everyone off long term to achieve your goals. Because yes, you may, get everything that you ever wanted, but you'll be alone and you'll be miserable. But I do believe in taking times throughout the year to distance yourself from family, from friends to really achieve your goals, understand yourself, and truly understand what you want out of life. Up until the end of 2022, it was just people telling me what I should do in my life and telling me where my life was heading. And while I was in university, everything was paid for. I had student finance, I was too comfortable, I had no drive. And so I distracted myself with hedonistic behaviors such as partying, diving into narcotics, and some other things which I will not mention on this camera. Okay. So there I am, dreading that 9 to 5, you know, the usual. You're bounded by time, bounded by location, and your income is capped per year, right? And I just did not like how everything was turning out. I needed to isolate myself, clear my mind, think about life, think about what I wanted in life, and the impact that I wanted to have on the world. And so I decided to take a trip to Thailand, just me, myself, and just head off, right? And clear my mind. Now, although this seems like some hippie stuff, going to a foreign country, finding yourself, the way I found myself was just going to a training camp, just training, doing Muay Thai, waking up, training, coming back, eating, sleeping, going back to training in the afternoon, coming back, eating and sleeping, and then just repeating that cycle. For me, that was my Zen moment. And while I was training at the time, I've heard a couple things, from the locals and from some of the foreigners, a mysterious island which had mushrooms, right? And this island, was filled with LED lights, full of hippies. Everyone's off their heads on some sort of narcotics, right? And so that's what I did. I went straight there by myself, went to the harbour, got a boat, and I landed on the island. Now, on the first night, I went to the locals and I asked, where can I get mushrooms? So there we are. They guided me and, get the mushroom shake, blended up with some fruits and stuff, and I had a shrimp shake, right? And that was my first psychedelic experience. Now, this was all by myself on a whim. I would not recommend this to anyone, especially if you're not one to be by yourself a lot, and you're mentally just not there. I wouldn't recommend taking it alone, right? But I'm sure of myself. Let's just say that. So I took it by myself and had a very introspective experience. Now a bit more about this place. It is full of hippies. Let's just say that. They play reggae music. It's LED lights everywhere. Everyone's always happy, high off their bloody tits, man. And some of you may know this place. Okay, I'm not gonna say what this place is, but some of you may know of this place. Quite a few tourists go there, but it's full of the locals. It's an amazing place, let's just say that. Now, prior to taking the shrooms, I did delete all my social media. I just cleared my mind, really went with it with an open mind, essentially. And I wrote down everything that came to my mind during the trip. What I've noticed is that many people don't take periods out of the year just to be by themselves and let their minds think. Your attention is constantly being stolen, and indirectly, you don't know what you want in life. You don't know what makes you happy because you're constantly being distracted. We are being bombarded with information from the moment we wake up, from the moment we sleep. And because of this, we can't process any of the information that goes into our brains. And because of this, we can't focus on what we truly want. Many times people don't focus on all the issues that are happening in their life, right? They just skip over any problems that may have happened and just tend to ignore it. But what happens is, at some point in your life, all these problems accumulate all at once and will hit you like a truck. Your mind is like a balloon. The more problems it goes in and you don't release the air, which is basically solving the problems, it accumulates and accumulates and it explodes. And that's what leads to depression, and that's what leads to a panic attack. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Pascal. Learning to be alone is a superpower in itself. It allows you to analyze your life, analyze what's going wrong, how you can solve it, and where your life is heading, without any external distractions coming into your brain. So how do you learn to be alone? Now, I'm not going to recommend you to go to Thailand and do mushrooms, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But take time out of the year and allocate time to yourself to really focus in on your goals, your life, what you want, and solve any problems that are occurring or piling up in the background. Now, if you can't do that in your current environment because maybe there's family members, constantly distracting you, maybe there's friends constantly distracting you, then move to a different location. Change your environment. Take a trip to another country. Take a camping trip just to the hills or some sort. Take time off social media so you're not bombarded with information every time you're on your phone. Take time off everything and just learn to reflect. Just like how you do in business, at the end of the year, every business, they look over their past reports, their successes, what went right, what went wrong, and then they tackle the new year accordingly to become better. This works the same way with life. At the end of every year or at some point throughout the year, just take time to analyze the past, the mistakes, what went wrong, what went right, and then you move forward accordingly towards your goal. So in terms of actually focusing on your brain and understanding it, you can meditate. I don't like that. I think it's a bit hippie in my opinion. It works. I've seen it work for some people. If it works for you, do it. You can dedicate some time to a sport and focus only on that sport. That's what I did. Or you can just pray and be closer to your religion. These things are some form of meditation in itself, okay? Find a form that works for you, that allows you to really think and go into your brain and understand how your mind is working. Once you're able to do this and you're able to sit back, relax, and you're able to think, understand what's influencing you, understand what you don't like and what you do like, the people would say that you need to cut off, the people that you need to add in your life. It allows you to release mental space, take on new projects, take on new goals and move forward in life. We take time out of the year to really focus in on our mind and take some alone time. We see ourselves clearly. We are more confident and more creative. We make sounder decisions, build stronger relationships, and communicate more effectively. It brings more peace into your life. You'll be able to understand what brings you happiness, what brings you joy, what brings you unhappiness, what brings you sadness. You're able to focus in on what you want out of life and understand your goals without distraction. Now, of course, don't cut yourself off for too long. Don't cut yourself out from society as a whole. You do need to socialize with family. You do need to socialize with friends. We are social creatures as humans. Socializing does make us happy, but don't become isolated to a point where you become a hermit, right? And at the same time, don't use isolation as an excuse to not socialize. If you're quite introverted, you can't be fully introverted. You do need to be extroverted at times, right? I've made another video about this. So don't use your isolation as an excuse to not talk to other people. But if you are lost in life, then I do recommend you take periods of isolation, really focusing on what you want out of life, what your goals are and what you're hoping to achieve, and just find more purpose. Relying on other people for happiness will be a detriment to you. Let them dictate your life, let them dictate your future, because at the end of the day, you only have yourself, especially through hard times. You come into this world alone, you exit the world alone. So get used to that mind of yours.